to my channel for some more Demon Slayer recap and review. This is Merrily Deeds. Before we get started, I did want to mention a point that I totally left out in my other video, which is the importance of wisteria. So wisteria repels demons. They don't like it, so it's almost like a mosquito repellent. I totally spaced out and forgot it last time, so my apologies. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. This week I will be covering episode 5 of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, My Own Steel. I am super stoked because last week we left off on a cliffhanger, so I am ready to go over what happened in this week's adventure. Fair warning, as always, this video will contain spoilers. In case you guys haven't read the manga or you guys haven't seen the animated series, you guys have been warned. Let's get started. Following last week's cliffhanger, we literally were left at a cliffhanger. Tanjiro was able to slice this demon's head off, and man, oh man, am I excited to see the rest. We do start off our episode with this demon recalling his past battle with Mr. Urukudaki, and then we are brought back to the present, which is actually Tanjiro being able to slice his head off. As his head falls to the ground, he is salty. He says, man, the last thing I'm gonna ever see is a demon slayer's face. Instead of Tanjiro looking happy, he actually has this really sad look on his face, and then this demon starts to think, how did it come to this? Out of nowhere, we see a scared child in the dark sitting, saying he's scared, he's alone, and he's calling out for his brother, saying, brother, I please, like, where are you? I want you to come and hold my hand, which I thought was very sad. And out of nowhere, it's this hand demon that is calling out for his brother. As his body's starting to evaporate away, he is holding out his hand, and of course, as a good, kind-hearted boy that Tanjiro is, he holds on to his hand. What Tanjiro does next honestly shocked me, and it just made me go from, you know, like, yeah, kill him, like, finish him, to being like, oh my god, this was so sad. Tanjiro actually asked God that the next time this man is born to please not let him become a demon. And this demon starts to cry as he passes away. This was just really emotionally sad, but it was just so, I don't know guys, it just literally just this act of kindness was just so perfect, and I was just super happy with the outcome, honestly. Tanjiro then recalls all of the children killed by this demon and says that they are free to go home now, and that if he would have been killed, he would have gone home as well, back to Mount Sagiri. Tanjiro has killed, you know, a overpowered demon, but he still has the rest of the week to survive in this forest. As the days are passing and he's fighting more demons, and every encounter that he has with the demon, he tries to ask them if there's a cure to turn Nezuko back into a human, but they're too busy trying to eat him to even answer his question. Now he sees how difficult this is actually going to be. He then reaches a little area in the forest that is covered again with wisteria, and he realizes that he has made it. He has survived final selection. As he heads back to where we first started, where the two girls came out and explained the final selection rules, we notice that only 3 others have made it out, which was the girl with the pink kimono, the guy with the blonde hair, and the guy with the scar. So literally all the badass characters that I thought looked cool last week's episode are actually the only ones that made it. Tanjiro thinks about that kid that left him when the handyman attacked him, and he's like, oh my god, dude, he still didn't make it. I blacked out and I couldn't save him. So he's still thinking about the kid that ditched him, and I was just like, oh my god, Tanjiro, you're just so sweet and nice. The girls congratulate them as they have passed final selection, and they are now gonna become demon slayers. They tell them about the rankings that there is, and they right now are currently in the lowest ranking. They explain to Tanjiro and the rest of the winners that they are going to get their uniform, and they're going to choose the ore for their sword. As she calls crows, each one of them receives their crows, except for the blonde guy. He actually receives a really cute little sparrow, and I do wonder why he was the only one that actually didn't get a crow. The guy with the scar actually has like a really bad temper, and he's like, man, I want my steel now, like, you better give me my sword now. And the girl's like, no, today you're gonna choose ore, and in 15 days you guys are gonna get your swords. And this guy's like, really rude and just grabs her by the hair and it's just like, give me my sword. And Tanjiro's just like, hey bro, relax. Grabs his arm and tells him, if you don't let her go, I'm gonna break your arm. And this kid's just like, no, you won't do it. And Tanjiro's like, bet. As he starts to put pressure on this guy's arm, he finally releases the little girl. And the other girl is just like, hey, are you guys like done with your little fuss? Because now we're gonna get into business. As they see, a table has been laid out with different ores, but they all look the same. They honestly don't know which one to choose. Tanjiro does use his keen sense of smell and he chooses one. After choosing the ore, we cut to a scene where a mysterious man is sitting down with a snazzy looking crow, and he's saying that 5 of his children actually survived. 5? I thought only 4 did. I guess someone else also survived final selection, they just haven't showed who it is. And then we cut to another scene where Tanjiro is on his way home, and this kid's been busting his ass for 7 days fighting demons non-stop. He's tired and he like, his uniform feels heavy, but he just wants to get home to Nezuko. He wants to see his sister, and he thinks that, man, although I fought these demons for 7 days, I was not able to get an answer on this, but he's still not giving up regardless. He is gonna turn her back into a human. As Tanjiro finally reaches Mr. Urukudaki's cabin, he is greeted by a wonderful sight. He sees Nezuko kick the door open, and remember guys, Nezuko has been asleep for the past 2 years that he's been training, and she hasn't woken up since. So he's super stoked to see her. As he tries to rush to her, he actually ends up falling because like I said, he's so tired, and she actually starts to run to him as well, and she embraces him in this heartwarming hug, and I just cried. Like, I cried so much because it was just so like satisfying to finally see. It was just so peaceful. And on top of that, Mr. Urukudaki sees that Tanjiro came back alive, so he rushes and embraces both of them, tears running down his face. And I just thought this group hug was just so heartwarming and satisfying. Like, finally we have a little like just joyful moment where like they forget about everything else around them, and it was just so great to watch. Tanjiro then tells Mr. Urukudaki that he killed the morph demon, and Mr. Urukudaki feels some sort of relief. He tells Tanjiro that now he is going to be facing even more dangerous demons, which is demons who have a special technique called blood demon art. He says that these are the unworldly powers that they have, and now he more than likely will be facing them off. Tanjiro then tells Mr. Urukudaki that he feels like Nezuko is different from the rest of the demons, that she is not like them, that if it's her blood demon art that stops her from actually attacking humans or wanting to hurt them. And Mr. Urukudaki responds with just a prediction on what he thinks is happening. So like I said, Nezuko has been asleep for 2 years. He says that Nezuko is actually gaining her strength back with sleep rather than eating humans, which is super great. That's super cool to know. We are then introduced to another new character, Haganezuka. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but I'm just gonna call him the guy who made Tanjiro's sword. His name is really hard to pronounce, but basically here we're explaining him. He has the sword ready and he forged it for Tanjiro Kamado. Tanjiro's just like, hey, you know, you want to come in? And he just goes on talking about the Nichirin sword, because I guess it is a very special sword. It is made from an ore and sand. And I do apologize, it's actually scarlet crimson iron sand and scarlet ores. And I mean scarlet crimson ore. You know, just gotta fix that little error right there. And he goes on and on about talking about this blade, and he just keeps interrupting Tanjiro, and he tells him, oh my god, you know, you're a child of brightness. Your red hair and your red eyes, you know, when a child like you is born into a family who works with fire, it is more than likely that the sword will change color into a scarlet red. He said he's never really seen a sword turn into that color, so he thinks that the sword is going to turn into this color. And when Tanjiro finally opens the sword, it actually turns black, which disappoints him, and he's just like, damn, you know, like I wanted it to be red. And Tanjiro's just worried. He's like, wait, is it bad luck if it turns black? And Mr. Urokudaki's like, no, he just really wanted it to be red. He then tackles Tanjiro. Tanjiro's like, hey, sir, you know, like, control yourself. It's a little moment, you know, of laughter. He's like, how old do you think you are? And this guy's like, I'm 37, but you pissed me off because I wanted my sword to be red. And it was just a funny little moment when they are interrupted by a crow who tells Tanjiro that he is to go on his first mission as a demon slayer to a town where young girls are disappearing, as we cut to a scene where a young girl is walking with, I don't know if it's her brother or her boyfriend, whatever it is, but she's walking with someone and she like mysteriously just vanishes. So Tanjiro has to go to that town and find the demon that is lurking there and kill it. I am stoked. Tanjiro finally got his first assignment as a demon slayer. My boy is ready and I am so excited for the following episode. This episode was honestly very emotional and very spiritual and just very like heartwarming vibe way. There's a few comments that I did want to say about this episode overall. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this episode, like I said, this episode overall was just very spiritual and emotional. It was just sad to see the hand demon, you know, think about his past life and actually cry as he was dying. I thought that was just like a little special touch that I normally don't really see in other animes, but I just thought that was really sad, and it was just very, you know, just emotionally wrecking. You know, I went from like saying, Tanjiro, like, kill this guy, beat him, you know, I hate him, to like actually feeling bad for him. And I got teary-eyed when I first saw this episode. I was just like, oh my god, this is so sad. But not only that, but when he sees the dead children and how Tanjiro says, you know, I would have gone back home too, that's just very sad as well, because it's just like, oh my god, like, this anime is really a type of feel anime, and it just, this episode just made me cry overall, but it was just so beautiful and spiritual, and I really did appreciate that. Another thing that I really liked was that my boy Tanjiro ain't no bitch. Yes, I said it, he ain't no bitch. You know, like I said, in the first couple episodes, he kind of had a struggle where he wasn't able to make decisions, he wasn't able to finish off demons, he wasn't able to, you know, step in because of his empathy. But now we see how that empathy plays out. He's still that same Tanjiro, you know, in that way of him being a kind-hearted boy. He still has that empathy, but he is not going to hesitate to, you know, kill whatever demon stands in his way. And I love that about him. I love this about Tanjiro. It's just that he's so good, so purely good still, but he's still able to, you know, to finally make decisions and finally, you know, like put his foot down. And I love that because we saw him grow, and I just really enjoyed that. Another thing that I also liked that this episode got more into was, you know, the explanation of Nezuko sleeping. I was wondering for a while, you know, why is she sleeping so much? You know, 2 years for her to sleep was just very long, but they finally gave us a good explanation that she is actually gathering her strength by sleeping rather than eating humans, which is super awesome, you know, because she is, you know, Tanjiro is going to be traveling with her in the box, so yay, she's going to actually get to take naps and sleep and be strong, and I'm super stoked to see how this plays out in the future. And lastly, I am just super stoked for all these new characters we're being introduced to. I am stoked to see the other 4 survivors of final selection. I can't wait to see, you know, what kind of powers they have, what breathing forms they're trained in, and obviously the swordsmen. I am super excited. I want to learn more about them. So yeah guys, I am super excited to see Tanjiro go on his first mission as a demon slayer. I am happy as hell that he was able to survive, you know, this week, and I'm looking forward to more episodes from this anime series. I'm super happy with it. I just feel like it just keeps getting better and better, so please watch it, you know. Anyways, That's just me trying to peer pressure you guys into watching it. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys want to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button, and please leave your comments down below. What did you think of this week's episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not? What were some things you enjoyed about it? Or what do you think about the series overall? I am always open for discussions. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys have a wonderful day. Merrily Deets out.